Hello everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. I'm in a little bit different setting today. I'm actually outside of the front door of my house because Erica hit her head at the airport, so she kind of has a concussion and she's sleeping right now, and I don't want to wake her up with my antics. So if I'm talking a little bit lower today, it's because I'm trying to be a little bit respectful towards her throbbing head. So I have a really important video that we've talked about gratitude a lot, but this one means a lot to me. And I'm going to talk about the importance of gratitude and why gratitude can be so important on the OCD recovery journey. If you look at the painting behind me, I remember when we first did this, they were laughing. It's actually a gnome. That one's Erica's. It's better than mine. I was a little bit intoxicated when I was doing mine. So I have 10 things to be grateful for and hopeful for on the road to OCD recovery. And this isn't just OCD, this is life in general. And maybe not all of these apply to you, but they are important. Now, before we go any further, just remember that walking around all day saying mantras and talking about gratitude all the time, it's actually not beneficial. It's quite counterproductive for us in a lot of ways. But it is important for these small perspective shifts to look at just how fortunate we are, to live in this time period. Now, again, you might not be able to relate to all of these. Some of them you definitely will, but some of them you might not. And maybe you'll have your own things to be hopeful for and grateful for on the road to recovery. So don't forget to like that video, subscribe. Really think about this one when you're watching it. You know what I would really like? Again, I go in and I look at all the comments. Type 3 things down below that you're grateful for. Right now, maybe pause the video and just think of 3 things you're grateful for. Or, even though you might be chronically suffering, think about some things that you have that other people don't have, that they can't get better from, or that they will never have. And there's a lot of cases like that. So the first thing I want to talk about is that you live in 2021 and you don't live in any other time period to have OCD. Even having OCD in 1950, 60, 70, 80, even when the foundations for OCD were really started with some of the sufferers in, I think, 1984, they still really had no idea what they were doing. I mean, still a lot of people today don't understand OCD who have OCD and will work with OCD. It's a very hard disorder to really kind of understand without actually having it. Just how someone who's never been under a bridge, homeless, smoking crack, and come out the other side is really going to understand what those lows are like. Again, I have to say this because there's a huge misconception that, being a sufferer has no benefit whatsoever for helping people. And this is just entirely not true. And we live in a really good time to have OCD because if you hear some cars going by, it's cars dropping up and down my street. Because we have so many different things that can help us. And this is really important to talk about because, like I said, think about even time before the internet. Think about 500 years ago. Think about 1,000 years ago. If you were a female, okay, 1021, and you told people about your OCD fears, which were blasphemy back then. Usually the big fears are revolving around the societal standards and dogma that we have, and they'll just kill you, burn you at the stake, dead immediately. So think about how lucky we are to have it today. Number 2 is we have the ability to recover. This is new. OCD recovery, and I have to talk about this, OCD recovery means the absence of chronic anxiety. You almost can't tell you really have OCD anymore. It might linger from time to time and try and pop its head because it is a disorder. There is more than likely a genetic component. A lot of the research actually substantiates and supports that as well. But we have the ability to recover. And I don't think there was probably anyone recovering even 20, 15 years ago. Rob and probably a couple other people were probably some of the first ones ever. And a history of probably millions and tens of millions of people who have had OCD over the history of time. Number 3 is we have the community. If you keep seeing me move, it's because this thing is just super uncomfortable. We have a community, and the community that we have is really, really, really important. And I'm going to talk about, let me see, it will be the next one. So I'll talk about number 3 and number 4. And number 4 is we have a lot of free resources. And I'm going to talk about the community as well. So we have the Facebook page. We have the YouTube channel with 560 videos. We have the Instagram page. And then we have a lot of affordable stuff too. Webinars that don't cost a lot of money. Group calls and stuff like that happen twice a week. They're usually an hour and 15-minute long. So we have a lot of resources that are free and that are really, really affordable no matter really wherever you are. And even if you can't afford the low price ones, there's still really cool stuff for free resources. I've done over 100 videos myself, and I'll probably be doing 1,000 more in my life because the more I move towards recovery, the more information I can share with you, it means a lot to me. I know what it's like to be at the low, and it's not fun. And we can work towards, getting people knowledgeable about how OCD works and getting them to a place where it doesn't need to affect their lives anymore. That's super important. So number 5 is you have the ability to learn how to accept anxiety, which kind of ties actually into, no, that one's just the one. Oh, number 8, which is you can work on recovery while living your life. There's a lot of things out there that if you have this problem, you actually can't really go forward in life. Many different things in life stop people from it completely ruins their quality of life. It's not super common, but it's more common than most people think because there are 8 billion people on this earth. So there are a lot of really unfortunate scenarios. So think about some of the statistics, which we'll cover soon, this is the best thing I ever heard from Gary Vaynerchuk, who, Gary Vaynerchuk's a type A personality, but he made a really good point one time talking to people that were in this office. He said, no matter where you are in life, you're in my office, okay? Multi-$100 million company. You're talking to me, the CEO of the company. That's rare. And you have an ability to have an internship at VaynerMedia. He's like, you are the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. You don't even realize that. How lucky you are no matter what's going on in your life. How fortunate you are. And that is absolutely true. Number 6 is probably the most important part on the list. And I kind of talked about this in the beginning. You have people that have been there. This is important to talk. What I like to do is for myself is share with you guys the reality of what it's like. So let me give you a complete reality of what's going on with me. I basically completely recovered from somatic OCD. That's no effect on my life anymore. It doesn't mean it doesn't linger from time to time, especially if I backslide on some of my other stuff, but it has no effect on me. It doesn't cause me any chronic anxiety. My body fears and stuff have been getting better. I'm not anywhere near where I probably can be, but I still move forward. No longer suicidal. I have anxiety. I wouldn't even say it's chronic. It's sporadic. I might have some days where I'm still chronically anxious throughout the day. But then I might have 5 days where I don't have any anxiety. But I don't really care about that. I was talking to someone the other day about why measuring anxiety. I'm just telling you, for this example, that, measuring anxiety is actually quite problematic for us. But, you can 100% get better. I mean that. And Rob doesn't like when I say 100%. That's not what I really mean. You 100%, but I mean like you have the ability to get better. And that's super, super important. And having someone who's been there, we have a keen insight into what the disorder is like. Without having OCD and coming out the other side, it's very difficult to understand, next to impossible. It's kind of leaning towards impossible. This doesn't mean that they can't help you and provide ERP and teach you CBT and REBT, but the internal thermometer and the mental checking and the mental rumination that's happening automatically because of fear and you still being scared of being stuck forever is so misunderstood by people who aren't sufferers. I've never seen it explained correctly ever by almost anyone. And this is important to talk about because we're very fortunate to have people like myself and other people who are willing to share information on you. And, maybe you don't agree with me, maybe you do agree with me. And that's completely fine because we don't have to agree with everyone. Number 7, a basic one, right? I added this one because it's basic. You have access to food and water. If I remember correctly, I think it's 2 billion people don't have access to electricity and 1 billion plus people don't have access to clean water. And half of the world, so 50%, 3 to 4 billion of the world live on less than $1 a day or $2 a month. No, I think it's $1 a day. It's ridiculously low. I mean, look at other countries and look at how fortunate you have. Like, even if you live in America, right? People always say all sorts of bad things about America. If you live in the poorest places, right? Alabama, Mississippi, those areas, kind of the area in the South, and you are absolutely have nothing. You still have the ability to get food from places, even if it's at the dollar store. You can still have access to clean water. The America poor is rich wealthy compared to other billions of other people on the planet. Billions, not millions, billions. This is super important to talk about. Number 9, simple. You can walk. So think about this, right? Think about all the people in life that have lost their legs, whether it's in an explosion, in a war, a disease, they can't use their legs anymore, they're paralyzed, car accident. This amounts up to millions of people that are living today. I don't know what the statistics are on people that are legally blind in America or completely blind. So think about being blind. That's not coming back anytime soon. Think about losing your legs. Yeah, you can have, obviously, there's prosthetics and all sorts of stuff, and it is changing, but these are really difficult things that you can't fully recover from them. Not fully. You can get a much better quality of life with a good prosthetic and the way the bionics industry is really going, which is probably going to be crazy in the next 20 years with all the 3D printing and all the nut stuff. But you have an ability, like right now, right? Let's say I'm chronically anxious right now and super hyper aware of my saliva right now. I can still hike, I could still work, I could still make videos, I could still eat, I could still go to the gym, I could still hang out with my wife, walk my dogs. I can do all these different things that weren't actually necessary. Weren't actually possible for many other people on this planet. I have the ability to create something very substantial in my life, whether it's spiritual or religious or monetary, whatever it is, what means success to you, where a lot of people don't even know what that means. I always tell people, and Rob and I watched this same night, we both were mind blown. Watch the Yeonmi Park interview with Jordan Peterson, North Korea defector, Yeonmi Park. I don't know how to spell her name, so I'm not going to say it. Yeomi Park. Unbelievable how fortunate we are. Think about living in North Korea after you listen to that. And number 10, again, you don't have a terminal illness. So my father died of stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So here's the thing about pancreatic cancer. Let me give you a little background, right? Here we go. Well, oncology. So pancreatic cancer is not good. Okay, mesothelioma, okay, cancer of the lungs, pancreatic cancer, and brain cancer. Those 3 kind of have the worst prognoses. I think the 5-year survival rate for pancreatic cancer is like 0.5%. And most people die within 6 months to a year. The vast majority. Steve Jobs was rare. And Alex Trebek was rare. They were rare cases, especially Steve Jobs. Now, it ended up killing him, but let me tell you why pancreatic cancer, and this is just, it's always fun to learn stuff. Your pancreas secretes all of the enzyme that breaks down food in your small intestines. So when your pancreas goes, you're just completely fucked. And it's an easy metastasis because when you look at how everything is connected inside the GI tract, it was on my dad's liver. It metastasized all over the place. He's dead. He's a done deal. He lived 7 months. And it was a tough thing to watch him go. I wasn't there personally, but my sister was, and she watched him basically deteriorate into a skeleton. And I was there a day before he died. He was as yellow as a marker because of jaundice. He had no idea who I was. He looked at me and asked me if I was real. You don't have that. Okay? I'm not trying to hold my father's death. My dad's dead. I've completely accepted that. I'm just fortunate I had a father. You know how many people don't have fathers in their lives? And I had a father who provided money for me, helped me out, taught me things. I had a lot of great things with my dad, even though I lost him when I was 27. It doesn't even matter. What matters is you have things in your life that you completely take for granted. Now, I think toxic positivity can be you step the other way, it's not actually helpful, but it is important to remind yourself of gratitude on the journey because the journey can be so all-consuming. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, like the video. I want to bring more videos like this to you. If you have any ideas or topics that you want to see based around anything, I'm talking about insights into the OCD recovery journey, talking about fear because it's commonly missed, how to bring down automatic rumination, maybe hopeful stuff, maybe more stuff about me. Maybe you want to get to know me more and what I like to do. I think this stuff is really important because the more I get to know you guys, and I definitely talk to everyone. I actually just had someone, you know who you are if you're watching this, you sent me Cadbury chocolates and they were amazing. Sent me 20 bars or whatever. There's 3 left. This was 2 days ago. I love chocolate. So it's, you can get better, okay? You can make progress. Don't think that you can't, no matter what anyone tells you. There's people out there saying you can't recover. You can recover. And you don't even need to recover, to be honest, fully, like a robust recovery. You can recover, but let's say you never reach it and it kind of still goes up and down, up and down. You have a much better life than someone with OCD for thousands of years. Thousands of years. it has no effect on my life really anymore. It might bog me down from time to time still, because I don't have some robust form of acceptance, but it's not even necessary for me right now because I'm just accepting where I am in the journey. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go through and read those comments, what you say, things you're grateful for. And then you'll see me again soon. I'm going to be doing, I think my next video I'm going to be doing is covering misconceptions of acceptance because there's a lot. You like this? Hi. Nice to meet you. What do you think? Oh, and I got this right here. I bought that for Erica, that Pitbull statue, when I was really suffering. When I bought that 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago this month, because we had just before we left to come to Colorado from Florida. I lived in Florida for 10 years. Super humid there. Colorado's a lot more dry. Totally random tangent. But I remember buying that and I had like no idea what was going on. I was so stuck. It's almost hard to even believe I was that stuck. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day.